Bounty hunter Kevin was ambushed during a mission. The killer slit his throat without hesitation, then sealed his body inside a concrete wall. But something impossible happened. 3 mysterious claw marks suddenly appeared on his arm. The next second, the dead Kevin violently opened his eyes and smashed his way out of the wall. When he looked into the mirror, he froze in shock. A deep wound stretched across his neck, so severe that the flesh was still split open. Before he could process what was happening, a 200-pound man suddenly walked into the room. Kevin thought he had found one of the killers, but after interrogating him, he realized the man was only a cleaner hired to dispose of the body and wipe away the blood. Frustrated, Kevin lit a cigarette to calm himself down. Then something even more disturbing happened. Not only did his voice leak through the hole in his throat, but even the smoke he inhaled started pouring out through the open wound in his neck.
What the hell? You were dead, bro.
To keep anyone from seeing his horrifying condition, Kevin knocked the cleaner unconscious, shoved him into the trunk, and wrapped his neck tightly with layers of tape. But after returning home and removing the tape, Kevin was stunned. The massive wound that had nearly killed him had completely healed. Not even a scar remained. Determined to uncover the truth, Kevin tracked down the 2 men who murdered him. While driving through town, he passed the local church and noticed something terrifying. The priest standing outside was staring directly at him, his eyes glowing with an unnatural white light. Panicked, Kevin slammed on the gas and sped away. Following the clues, he eventually located the killer's hideout. Without hesitation, he kicked the door open and stormed inside. Before the men could even draw their weapons, Kevin had already overpowered them both, and suddenly, someone knocked on the door. Kevin immediately dragged one of the captives into a back room and watched the hallway through a narrow crack in the door. Moments later, the lights inside the house began flickering violently. At the same time, the other killer outside started screaming in absolute terror. Kevin slowly looked through the crack again, and his heart nearly stopped. The priest, who had been standing across the room only seconds earlier, was suddenly right outside the door. Terrified, Kevin emptied his entire magazine into the entrance. But against this kind of supernatural force, bullets meant nothing. As the final barrier was about to break apart, Kevin abandoned the hostage, jumped through the window, and ran into the dark forest as fast as he could. It wasn't until deep into the night that he finally made it back home, but the nightmare was far from over. Sitting beside his mother was a mysterious woman radiating danger. What terrified Kevin even more was that this woman knew everything. She knew he had come back from the dead. She even knew every detail about the priest with the glowing white eyes. Looking at the nervous Kevin, the woman calmly spoke a single sentence.
Well, you're only standing here now because we brought you back.
After everything he had experienced, Kevin had no choice but to believe her. Staring directly into her eyes, he finally asked the question that had been haunting him since the moment he came back to life.
What job, lady?
Oh, you're still a bounty hunter, Mr. Halloran. But now, you hunt demons. For the devil.